This is Reinhard von Hennigs, and this is also my 101 morning musing, 101st morning musing. So welcome, and especially a cordial welcome to those who stuck with me all 100 musings and who are celebrating right now the 101st musing with me. This is also interesting as we are starting a new year. Happy New Year, everybody. And also in the new year, the question is the year 2020 now a new decade? So I see so many folks talking about it's a new decade. I'm not sure who's right and who's wrong, but all I know is that my number 100 musing was on the last day of the old year, and my 101st musing will start today. I'm publishing a book about my first 100 musings, and my musings are counted from 1 to 100. So the second round of 100 musings start with 101. Therefore, I believe the new decade will start in a year, but hey, that's not the point of my musing today. The point of my musing today is that I have this book ready. I have all the musings written down here, and while I'm doing some fine-tuning right now, I'm really excited to have an opportunity to give you a copy of my morning musings in the very near future. If you would like a copy, let me know, and also let me know if there's any topic which you like more or which you don't like more. I see, just in flipping through my morning musings, United States judge rules suspicionless searches of travelers' digital devices as unconstitutional. Along the side of Californians will be banned from smoking at state parks, over to German companies going into a tech IPO, and many more things. So it's nice to not only read the 100 musings of the last year, but also to see that there is a certain trend in global business, in global world, in the global law world. Talk to me if you have any questions, but even more important, have a very good, happy, prosperous, and healthy New Year.
Whether you're a private citizen, an international business leader, or simply someone eager to stay on top of the latest news, this book is a great way to get caught up on the most recent developments in the worlds of international business, tax, politics, and social affairs. Go to morningmusings.com and order your copy today.
Is the rule of law outdated? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And the lawyer in me, of course, cries out loud, no, it is not outdated. Well, what is the rule of law? Some of you may ask yourself. It is the authority that law in a society is valid for everybody. All members of society are subject to the same principles, including the government, and everybody has an equal treatment under the legal codes and processes. Why is it outdated then? In many countries in the world, the rule of law is not applicable because of corruption and because of local issues related to the local jurisdiction. Therefore, many companies who are publicly traded focus on the environmental, social, and governance issues, also known as ESG. What internal rules does a company have in place in the ESG world where companies need to follow the ESG movement in order to be publicly attractive, in order to be traded in stock exchanges? So in a way, those self-made rules, which are not necessarily self-made because they reflect a certain standard of society, play a higher role than the rule of law. The World Justice Project indicated in their rule of law index that the rule of law is declining, but the ESG movement is improving. So by contrast, those two concepts, while the rule of law may be weak, it is best for you as a company to look into compliance programs to make you attractive to your investors, but also a good compliance program in the world of ESG may help you if it comes down to any governmental, regulatory, and other investigative work. So at the end, the rule of law may not be dead, but it may be substituted by a system whereas the society has self-regulatory approach rather than the rule of law. Are sweatpants a sign of defeat? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And if you believe Karl Lagerfeld, they are. His famous quote is, "Sweatpants are a sign of defeat. You lost control of your life if you bought some sweatpants." According to the post-pandemic recovery strategy, fashion right now is roaring in the so-called athleisure market. The athleisure market size grew significantly in the year 2021, and the anticipated reach in the next 5 years is again skyrocketing. What's athleisure? It's a mixture between athletic clothing, which is both comfortable and stylish. It's defined as a combination of athletic and casual activities. So the sector is growing. Why? Because people seem to be dressing more casual if it comes down to go to work. But by the same token, home office requires more casual clothing. Consumers are requiring more comfortable clothing, and more health-conscious consumers are likely to engage in more athletic activities throughout the day. So performance clothing is needed more than ever before, maybe also to get rid of some of those extra Corona pounds. So what does it mean for business? The mass athletic market is growing, but the mass athleisure segment had a share since 2020, growth share of 64%, and it's expected to grow more. My quick takeaways are as follows. Number one, if you are in an industry and you think you have a market, capitalize on it because the opportunity is now. Number two, while some cry out loud for the impact any economic downturn has, others see opportunities. Number three, if you have a crazy market approach to combine athletic and casual and comfortable and all the different clothing together, why not try it out? I wonder how much influencer had an impact on that. And finally, find a market where the global trend seems to be there. As whenever I talk with colleagues from all over the world, athleisure and more casual clothing seems to be on the run. However, whatever the fashion industry on Karl Lagerfeld will think about that is one part, but where the money goes is another part. Who sold most cars last year in the United States? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. Well, if you look behind me, you get a hint. It is not Ferrari. It is, however, also not the long-term average best-selling car in the United States, which was General Motors. Since 1931, General Motors was always the top-selling car company in the United States, and they were dethroned last year by Toyota. Toyota sold 2.332 million vehicles in the United States compared to only 2.218 million vehicles in the General Motors brand. The sales are down for General Motors, but why? Or better, the question is, what are the lessons learned out of that? The sales are down for about 13%, while Toyota sales were up by 10%. Overall, Toyota barely beat GM. I do not believe that this is a long-term trend and that Toyota will be #1 car selling company in the United States for many more years to come. But let's focus on why Toyota outsmarted General Motors last year. The shortage of semiconductors led to a significant reduction in production, and companies who are relying on semiconductors had a significant supply chain issue. Toyota learned out of the Fukushima nuclear disaster to stock proper, to be more open to storage versus just-in-time production, and therefore they were able to fill in all the car requests, and they were able to make more cars and sell more cars than GM, because GM relied more on past strategies of just-in-time. So the key component here is that in times of economic uncertainties, it is a good idea to stock up your own production line by having enough in your warehouses. And Toyota did exactly that. Is it a feasible proposition, especially as stocking up items creates a shortage of cash? Well, for Toyota, it worked out. For General Motors, it did not. And for you as a company, look into what are your shortfalls, where's your Achilles heel, and where can you look in the future? Who owns Politico? Hello, this is Reinhard von Hennigs. And yes, the question is related to the news outlet, to the website Politico. Last year, in the fourth quarter, the German Axel Springer conglomerate bought Politico for a skyrocketing number of $1 billion, and the media world grasped about that. But what does it mean on bigger terms? Well, on the surface, another company was bought by another company, another transatlantic venture is being developed. We have a German parent, Axel Springer, and a US subsidiary, Politico. But we also have the question of what do companies do when they enter the US market? Well, first of all, who is Axel Springer? Axel Springer's empire and the core commitments have been always expressed by very few core quotes. They are pro-United States, pro-NATO, pro-Israel, pro-austerity, pro-capital, anti-Russia, and anti-China. This is a way how Politico will be done in the future. We will see. Unlike the German journalists writing for the Axel Springer groups, they did not have to write their soul away, which was customary with the Axel Springer journalists. They had to agree about a more moderate level. On a practical term, Axel Springer announced that they are ramping up staffing by 10% and to go into multiple languages and to expand the footprint in different coverage issues as well as different coverage areas. So we all know that Axel Springer has the ability to reach out readers and listeners in all different spectrums of society. And the question is now how much Politico will be enhanced in the same way. But my main real transatlantic observation is one more time a German company is buying a US company. One more time a German company is adding proceeds, is adding funds to make the US subsidiary more viable, better funded, and on the long run be more competitive on the market. And that's one of the cool stories about transatlantic relations. When those two groups of the world get together and they develop something, there's something great to happen, whether it's Axel Springer and Politico or many more things or many other things in the past. I'm looking forward for year 2020 with more of those fascinating mergers, not necessarily in the $1 billion range, but just a merger of ideas, creativity, and outlook.